Anamika, thank you so much for joining me in this conversation today.
My pleasure.
So I want to start actually by telling you about someone I met recently. He's a centenarian. He's 101 years old. He lives in Bombay, very close to you. So part of a story, I'm meeting centenarians. So I spoke to him. I spent a morning with him. A couple of hours I spent with him.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out like what is his life about. I was trying to find cues as to how come he's healthy and still living a fulfilling life. So his family and him told me like 3 things stood out. Okay, active lifestyle, always moving, no gluttony, very happy with simple foods, small portions of food, and the biggest thing is he has always been connected to the world outside. He's part of like church activities, philanthropic activities from his church.
Correct.
So he's been going to a laughter club for the last 25 years and they are a close-knit group of friends. Okay. So whenever he has a chance during COVID, he went out and helped people.
Yeah.
So a lot of his things, his daughters say, is because he is so invested in this feeling of community. Okay, and that's something that's emerging, as you know, the world over, right?
Sure.
Like you need connection. Isolation is sort of giving us all the bad things in life, stress, disease. So that's where I want to come into Joy Hamesha here, because for the first time in my life I've been part of a wellness community, and it is so enriching. It has brought so many changes in me over the years. So I'll start first with you. You have had a corporate career. You're from IIM Bangalore. What led you to this path, and why a wellness community? Why didn't you think of like maybe a wellness startup?
Let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
Very good place to start, they say. Yeah. So I'm a graduate in mathematics, postgraduate in computers, and then as I mentioned, I did my 2-year full-time course from IIM Bangalore. Started my career with TCS and then went on to work with Deloitte and KPMG. Very fulfilling life, 28 days a month traveling, great for the marriage. And of course, then the little one came along in 2004. That was a miracle that she came along, as I said, since we weren't meeting too much. That sort of made me realize when she was 3 or 4 years old, I was in the US for 2 months. And when I returned, she took about 5 to 10 seconds to register that this was her mother. So I said, she was a late child, so by then I was director at Deloitte. So I said, been there, done that, very difficult, but I did it. I gave up my corporate life. And today I have no regrets at all. Okay, but at that time, little bit I tried doing things, keeping myself busy, etc. And then 2016 happened when I went through cancer, and the whole mind-body connection, body of knowledge just opened up in front of me. Okay, so friends who have been my friends for a long time, but who've been dabbling in alternate therapies or in healing, etc., suddenly their knowledge came into my being. And it was so fascinating. Plus there were experiences that I went through which confirmed that something is there in this realm. Okay, and so I started studying. Studying at that age, I said, let go of my mathematics and computers and rationality, absolutely. Yeah. Because a lot of things in this field are not very rational. I mean, you can't say this happens and therefore it will have the same result with all the 10 people who go through it, right? Because there are so many factors that go into making a person a personality. True. So I started learning about it. I met Vijay Bhatt, my mentor, I would say, who opened this whole world in a very systematic way. So I trained to be a cancer coach with him. That's how my journey started. And the holistic well-being philosophy that a person is not only food, rest and exercise, but also what they think, what they feel, their relationship with the others, as you said, with the community, with the family, and also a little bit of spiritual issues. And when I say spiritual, it's existential, not religious, right? So people stress about why are we born, what is my purpose in life, why are 4-year-olds getting raped, you know, and so with that existential issues, they can actually cause a little bit of unrest in their life. So that is how I started. Then somewhere along the way, we stopped that work, okay. Vijay decided to stop the work, but I said I will continue, and he was magnanimous enough to say that you can use that protocol. And so I started doing that work on my own. That's how Joy Hamesha actually started. But then after a couple of months, but let's say 6 months or so, I realized, why do I have to wait for people to go through cancer to tell them about well-being? Right? It was well-being, because what happens is after the treatment is over, the doctor, nobody knows why cancer happens, right? So you don't know what to do. What is that you can do? So it's a more holistic life that you can adopt, so that the risk or the probability is lower in case something is to happen in the future. So so I said, yeah, why to wait for an illness, right? Why do we have to go down and then, you know, come up? Why not we go somewhere in between without going down, right? And that's how I discovered the philosophy of Louise Hay, that you can heal your life in whatever phase you are in. So I trained myself in that. I'm a certified, internationally certified Heal Your Life teacher. I even did the one for corporate, so you know, different elements, so that it speaks the corporate language.
Correct.
Okay? And then I did NLP. I even did modalities like Reiki. I don't practice it, but at least I know a little bit about that, and I do it more for my well-being rather than, you know, others.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's how then I made that transition, right? And yeah, so why not a startup and why a community?
That was the question. Yes.
When you say why not a startup, you mean why not a commercial angle?
Commercial angle. Why not raise money, make a company, and you know,
which you've been telling me for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not that I do social work, as they call it, or you know, I do charge for the work I do. But yes, not any exorbitant amount. Whatever cost has to be recovered, and a little bit for me, because otherwise you can't sustain the work.
Right.
Because somebody is doing some social media work for me, then I have to pay them. Somebody is doing some other work for me, I have to pay them. You know, so I take that much money to sustain.
I have to talk about the process. So now, how you built it. Like right now, Joy Hamesha has various groups.
Yeah.
Right. So you do writing work. You do we do a book reading. Then you do various programs. You do the retreat. So. And there are quite a few people common in all these groups, and they have become close to each other, right? So we kind of share things with each other.
Yes.
So was that difficult? Because anyway, people don't want to talk about stuff.
Correct.
And then you are going in, say in the retreat when I went, for example, you feel apprehensive
Correct.
in the beginning, because you are with strangers and
Correct.
you're being your most vulnerable. You're talking about so many things that you probably haven't talked with your family as well, right? So was that process difficult? Like how did you sort of, I mean, I'm sure it depends on your approach, but or there's some things you had to learn, unlearn, you know?
I'm still learning to build the community.
Yeah.
It's not really a community yet. As you rightly said, there are a handful of people who are doing the work. But I also appreciate the fact, or I also realize the fact, that this journey is not for everybody. For example, the 22-25 people who've done the retreat with me, who were really quite moved by the retreat, all of them, I think just a handful of you have continued that journey. maybe 5 out of 25 have seriously, I mean, you do conscious and continuous effort, right, on a daily basis. It's not like a satsang. The retreat is like a satsang. You come, you feel very good about it, but when you come back, you have to practice anything. And we take 10 plus 2 plus 3 years to graduate, right, in India. But when we want to make personal development, we want instant results. So I would say I'm still learning to build a community, and I'm getting the elements. I think the way to go or the strategy to use is to take them through a longer journey.
I mean, that's what you've done.
Yes.
You are there in our life.
Yeah.
So,
No, like for example, when you did the retreat, we did the 3 days and that was it. That retreat ended. I did other things, and because I was also trying to learn what will resonate, what will happen.
True.
Now the modality has changed. Okay, so the people who are going to do the next retreat, which is on the 2nd to 4th of August, they will be with me for 8 more months.
Okay.
Okay. So every week we will meet once, if not twice. Okay, that's part of the program.
Okay.
They will meet and we will take that journey forward, so that some
amazing
change happens. Because in those 3 days it's just a shift in the mindset, but then the practice, the more reflection, realization, all that will take time. So I have at the moment 8 month practice, which I will take them.
Can you give us little more details about the retreat? Like don't reveal everything, but like just an idea of how it will work. How will the group dynamic work?
So the retreat is a very special thing for me. So as I've just shared with you, it has undergone a lot of change from what you did. You were the first batch actually. And it's very special because everything around my work revolves around the retreat. So I use the Heal Your Life philosophy, more so
NLP too, I think.
A little bit of other modalities, but mostly it is Heal Your Life. And then of course I infuse other elements like art therapy, like sound therapy, nature walks, all that is there. Because when we are trained as Heal Your Life teachers, we are given a manual, right? So there's nothing to think; it's all there. Louise and her team they have ensured that we have everything.
Right.
The script is there, what to do, what meditation, what activity, what reflection, everything. And then I was just so lucky, and I'm so grateful that I found this place, the Hidden Oasis in Pune. It's really a hidden oasis, as you know. And somehow, that place gives a more holistic approach to the whole thing, right? So there's no television in the rooms. There's a lot of greenery, water body. The food is not cooked in a commercial kitchen. It's the women of the locality doing it. So I think it's all the elements sort of come together to give a holistic experience to the people who are retreat. So they are away from the hustle bustle of daily life, and plus they are experiencing a life which is not synthetic. It's a much more wholesome and natural life. The people there, those who run the Hidden Oasis, Yunus and Shamoy, they are lovely people. So it's all a very nice experience.
And sort of that whole gathering where we do our exercises next to that lake or river. I mean, it is just such a magical place. You are thinking, you're feeling, you're maybe crying, and you have the water sound, it's soothing you also. It's a beautiful place. Sunrise is there, so beautiful. So Anamika, to talk about the kind of people who are coming in for this kind of retreats, I would think most people don't want to do this kind of work, right?
Correct.
What have you observed? What have been your observations about how people, what kind of expectations people come in, do they get intimidated, disturbed by the experience? What kind of people actually see it through? Is there a gender factor here? Do you see more women coming in? Can you share some of those observations about your wellness work?
Yeah. Most people, as I said, find a retreat very nice, right? Because it's Louise Hay's all the years of her work.
Yeah.
I'm just a channel there.
True.
It's not anything. Currently, this retreat is nothing that I create. I mean, of course, the art therapy and all those are the simple things, but the content is primarily
Louise Hay.
in your life, right? So obviously, it's a very powerful and what do you say?
Maybe transformative.
Transformative,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So practically everybody gets a breakthrough.
Yeah. I have seen that, yes.
I don't think there has been anybody who's not had a big breakthrough.
Correct. Yeah.
The only thing is when they come back, they either get, embroiled in the day-to-day activities, or like there have been a couple of people who have gone through an illness and they came for the retreat. They come back and then they get a clean, chit of health from the doctor, and they say everything is fine, so we don't have to do anything. And I only tell them that, look, that is for now, but there is a propensity for you to fall, have a disease, so you have to work on it. And I leave it at that. I think it's a journey for everybody, right? In this line of work, I cannot force anybody. I cannot say you have to do it. It will never happen.
Yeah.
So I can only give a direction. I can only handhold. So I keep in contact with all of the people who've either done the retreat or any other, play shops. I call them play shops because you're not working. You're actually just having fun. That's what
Play
life is
shops
about.
instead of workshops.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what life is about, right? It's having fun. So I keep, a connection so that when they are ready, they will continue that journey in the way that they find, beneficial.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your level of satisfaction, because obviously you are not earning a lot of money here, but you are pursuing with people. You want them to heal. You want them to have that breakthrough, have that ease and that peace inside them. Would you say that is related to the fact that you have gone through that phase of, coming out of cancer? You've gone through that darkness. What motivates you to sort of follow up with people and just be at it without having a lot in return?
Motivates me that, so you're saying, do I feel dejected? Sometimes, I feel, right? So there are 25 and only 5 people are going.
But you're still at it every day.
I'm there
from morning.
Every day.
Yeah.
So I write for LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever.
And you're prodding us all the time. Yeah.
So I say, if those are the people whom I have to help, they are the ones. That's it.
Finally, just talk about the work you do for cancer patients, right? That started with when you were working with your mentor Vijay Bhatt.
Correct.
That organization was called Cancer Awakens, so that no longer exists, I guess.
Yeah.
Just give us an idea of, I have done it myself, but just, it sort of helped me understand myself better.
Yes.
And I think you can talk about why that is important for a cancer patient, right? To sort of go into all aspects of your life, why that's important, and what you do, little bit of the details of, just give an idea of what you do, because a lot of people are wanting to now, explore that facet after going through cancer, that, you take your treatment, you come out and you go back to your normal life. What was normal then is no longer the case. It changes you, and a lot of people are taking steps to sort of, So please talk about that, Ruchi.
So the work that we do with cancer patients, it started with a 16-session protocol. I have brought it down to 10 because, one is the cost factor, one is a time factor. People don't want to be in a journey for that long. They get bored or they fall off the track. So 10 sort of condensed it, which looks at all aspects of the person. The physical aspect, mental, which is what they think, the anxiety, the uncertainty of the future, etc. Then the emotional part, how we feel, the anger, the sadness. Then the relational part, how we interact with our families, our colleagues, our extended family, the community at large, and finally the spiritual aspect. So it takes care of all these 5 aspects, and then at the end of it there's a action plan. Right? Okay, so great, you have discovered all this about yourself, but now what? So there's an action plan which then I help them to
follow through.
So
thank you so much for that, and just keeping this community going, just meeting even once a week, and that sharing, not necessarily intellectual sharing but emotional sharing, that's sort of makes so much of a difference to your day.
One thing one of my teachers has said, that mostly in a community, people come just to talk, to be heard.
Exactly.
They may not want solutions.
Yeah.
They just want to be heard. So that's the space. Even when we do the book reading, we give that space. Sometimes people don't speak related to the chapter or whatever
at all
in that session, right?
Completely tangential.
Correct. But we allow them to talk because that is the only forum they have to share. So it's more, I think that's where I'm going, that to give spaces for people to just be heard. Okay. And then of course the next phase of helping them transform some part of their life so that it's more joyful, more fulfilling.
And so many people are apprehensive that why should I talk to strangers? Is there enough trust? But once you have that emotional sharing, actually the question of trust doesn't come in then, you just trust.
Absolutely.
It's a safe space.
I know one gentleman who said, I will come for your retreat, but I will not speak.
Right.
So I said, okay. So you have the freedom to do what you want.
Correct.
Based on how you want to take your journey forward.
Right.
So there's no, you have to talk, you have to share, nothing like that. You take that retreat the way you want, or you take however you wish to be associated with Joy Hamesha, you take that journey forward in the way you want.
So this was such a lovely conversation, Anamika. Just the idea of a wellness community, I think people are curious about it, people wanting to join, but again, it's a world that people are not familiar with, and the question of their own trust issues and all that. So amazing information.
Thank you.
And thank you for enriching my life and our community's life, and please continue the good work.
Thank you, Sanjukta.